What is up? What is up, everybody? What is going on? Yo, it's your favorite everything as usual, JR Wisdom. I'd like to welcome you guys back to the show. Wait for everybody to populate in here. Y'all know I go live every once in a blue moon, but we about to pick it up here. Shout out to everybody. I want to say you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate you. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button like right now. You know what I mean? Y'all know the deal. Y'all know the drill. As usual, this is a live call-in show, so everybody's welcome. You know, tonight we're going to be talking about something that's near and dear to me as I exist in this interstice, not on one side or the other. I try to keep the balanced approach. But I'm gonna be talking to my fellas and the ladies as well tonight in terms of figuring this thing out. You know, whether you down on your luck, you down on your ass, you in a relationship and things like that. As a man, it's your job to figure it out. Not the woman, not her. Can't be looking to her like she's your mom. But before we get into it, man, I'm gonna give some shout outs. Go ahead and everybody let me know where you guys are checking in from tonight. Age, sex, location, all those great things. Hit that like button. Shout out to Hotspot Casino in the building. We're going to run it up, get the likes up, man. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be a good show, God willing. And, I'm going to do my thing as usual. So, listen, man. Today, I've been restructuring some things over the past few days. Y'all might see the content changing for those of you who are tuned in. We going more into, I've never been the bashing type anyway, but we're gonna be going more into definitely the advice protocol instead of just pointing things out. You know what I mean? Pointing out what's the problem with no solutions. That's what I'm trying to make this channel is more about solutions than saying who does what, who's doing what. She's doing this, he's doing this. They're all 304s, they all hoes. And at the end of the day, if everybody's thinking that way about everybody else, where are we really going with all this? You feel me? Where are we going at with that, man? And primarily, I'm gonna be talking to the women on a lot of these videos, but this one in particular to the fellas, because we say these things like, we're aspiring alpha males, right? We're aspiring leaders, we're aspiring fathers, providers, protectors. We want to have kids and things like that. Shout out to Grand Prairie. Shout out to Palmdale. Palmdale is far from LA. She said Palmdale, Los Angeles area. Palmdale but shout out to you, Deborah Clark. That's a long way from LA. But where was I at? I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. Yeah, we're supposed to be, you aspire to be all these things, and we want a woman to be a certain type of way, but we want to go 50-50, we want to go half. JR, it's 2023. These women need to be paying half of the bills. This ain't the 60s. We're masculine men. Who's the provider, protector? Is it still you? How you calling the shots in the house? I'm the daddy. This daddy's home, but mama's paying half the bills. Only if she wants to, though. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna be a laid back live stream if you guys didn't already guess. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking the pressure off, But buddy, good buddy. Whenever my wife becomes the protector, provider, cherisher, sustainer, I'll put on a thong. Facts. I'll wear a thong just for her. You know what I'm saying? And I'll do some other stuff, other strange things when it gets to a point where a woman's gonna be doing that. As men, right? It's said we're born without value. Women are born with value. Little girls are born with value. They're taught this. You know, little boys, you got to earn your stripes in this world. You got to tread your path. You got to create the path and basically build yourself up, physically, mentally, accumulate wealth or position or status, and then try to get a wife and children, not the other way around, where you come into a relationship or situationship with nothing and you call yourself a husband and a father. I don't see it. The problem is not the provision part. The problem is that these women want to live a lifestyle that is unattainable. Well, let them live the lifestyle. Let women who want to live a certain lifestyle, let them do them. But fellas, if you want a woman to be within your domain, you're going to be calling the shots, right? You shouldn't tolerate any disrespectful woman that doesn't want to be in the household. She doesn't want to listen. You should have never proposed or invited her in your sanctuary, you know. But we're talking about serious relationships here. We're talking about figuring it out. A lot of guys, they lose their shit. They lose their jobs, lose position, lose a lot of things, and they look to the woman. I lost my job. You're not working right now. I lost my job. What do I do? She's looking at you like, what are you gonna do? You gonna sit there and look at me? I'm supposed to be figuring it out for you? Is that what's going on here? These kids in here, how they gonna eat? You want her to get out in the street and sell some ass for you? I mean, what's really going on? Back to what I was saying though, the value, men having value, you have to earn all that stuff. Women are born with it and they carry it throughout their adulthood, you know. And for the most part, a woman's value is in her beauty. You know, we can say, you can argue with that, but that's typically how we look at it. A woman's value is in her beauty. But we know beauty only goes so far, because if you get with a woman based off her beauty and she can't do anything, and you're the husband and the wife in this situation, then you just got a dud. But if you're a man of means, which we're not talking about right now, because a man of means is going to make it happen. He's not going to look at the woman and say, hey, what are you doing? Where's the other half of the rent? What do I do? A woman's your confidant and she can be your advisor, you know, but at the end of the day, it's your job to figure it out. If you had a daughter, right? I have daughters. I'm not looking for my daughter and whatever. If she ends up with a Pookie, I'm gonna be like, you in it with Pookie. You're gonna have to figure it out, because I didn't raise you this way. I didn't raise you to basically be like, struggle with this man and then, you know, him looking at you to figure it out. And your way of figuring it out, as I said before, is come talk to your dad. Have your dad figure it out for us. Have your dad give you some money so that we can live better. It's a lot of women living like this. I did a video commenting on the one woman who went to her estranged father, to help get an apartment for her and her new boyfriend and her 3 kids that wasn't her boyfriend's, because she left her husband. This is what happens. So if you want to be that type of guy, that's cool. You know, I don't want to live my life like that. Men are about action. Men are about direction. Men are about purpose, offering security, holding it down. You know, we say the woman's the anchor, but the man is holding it down at the end of the day. It's his job to be the protector and provide provision, not the other way around. But I think this space has created, you know, these offspring, these men who think that they're automatically high value and high, you know, they're the prize and they're barely surviving. You know, they're behind on their rent and things like that. And they feel like a woman should just be able to fall right in their lap and help pay half of the rent. What you need is a roommate, if that's the case, fellas. You need a roommate, you know. And I think a lot of this talk that we see online is men looking for a roommate, in my opinion. If you don't have the means to support a woman and a family, then you don't need to get married or be in that type of relationship. You know, when shit goes down, right? A tragedy happens in the family, in the household, you know, you're second guessing yourself, you're all over the place. What do I do? What do I do? And you're with her, and then she knows that you're not stable at that point. You're all over the place. You're not solid. You're not holding a masculine frame like a man should do, like what she should be having. You know what I mean? A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So says the Bible. You know what I mean? But what are you doing? Are you looking for her to save you? That's what women do. Women look for men to save them or help them out. When you get into that point where you're like, my wife needs to save me from this situation. How can a woman ever depend on a man like that? Why would she ever want to be with a man like that she has to save? I'm just saying, guys, is that the type of man you want to be? Or do you want to be that man that she looks at as, this guy is the coolness of my eyes, this is all I ever wanted, I don't have to second guess, how we're going to make it, how we're going to survive, any of that, because I know that he has the initiative to go out there and get it. He's a go-getter. Some of you ladies don't trust your men. The ladies that are watching, you don't trust your man, and the less trust you have in them, some men get comfortable and they be like, well, she doesn't trust me. Well, I'll let her take the reins on this situation. Right? She'll take the reins and you'll just sit back and look, to go half with her, guys. I'm the king of the castle, but my queen is going half up in this bitch. What are we doing, fellas? Women, what are you doing with a man that can't provide for you? A lot of there's this show that you guys may have seen where there's this BBW, Cole BBW, right? She's dating this guy from prison. He gets out of prison. She's like towering over him, and she's paying for all the meals and all this stuff like that. I read a comment that a woman made. Well, she actually reposted, and she said, I could never be this cold BBW that's taking care of this convict that just got freed, right? He doesn't have to be a convict, because there's an overwhelming amount of women in our community that are taking care of men. And this has created some sort of comfort that, the children see it, boys and girls, the daughters see it, and they feel like that's what they have to do. And the sons see it and they feel like that's what they have to do. I'm used to I'm watching this woman taking care of a man. She's taking care of me. This is what a woman's supposed to do. She's supposed to take care of me. I'm not supposed to do nothing. And the girls see that, and it's the same way. It's quite unfortunate. Is that what you want for your kids? Is that what we want for our kids? Is that what I want for my kids? I want my daughter to be taking care of some man. You want your daughter to be taking care of some man? Or him asking her to figure the shit out? I'm going back to bed. I told you guys before, I was in the finance industry, right? More so the credit industry. 99% of my clients were women. 98% black women, right? And they were all in relationships, some way, shape, or form, married, boyfriends. And they were the ones who were trying to progress and make the moves while the guy was just sitting back watching, you know. And I just think I'm like, and I'm not saying it could happen. If my daughters ever end up in a situation like that, where she has to like push the needle forward, she's spearheading the progression of the family dynamic. I'm gonna have some issues with that. But it's so common now. It's almost like the thing to do. Hit the like button, guys. You know, I'm slow talking this evening. It's a real easy live stream, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just getting some thoughts off real quick. So I'll call in a bit. I gotta hit the shower. Yeah, it's a call-in show for you guys who's just joining. You know, feel free to share your thoughts. You know, it's an easy Tuesday night here. JR, 2023, things have changed. It's not like it used to be in the 60s, where the man, you know, bore the brunt of everything. Did I say that right? It was a tongue twister. I probably messed that all up, man. The man did everything, and the women were different. That may be so. But fellas, this is your show. You're running the show, or is she running the show? What you accept is what you allow. If you allow it, it's going to continue if you allow it. But if a woman doesn't do these things, and I'm not saying you commanding something in an abusive manner, but if a woman doesn't want to do these things, then she's not the woman for you, fellas. But that's if you're worthy of it. She may already know you're not worthy of it. She's just keeping you around because it's familiarity. She knows you're a bozo. But she probably don't want to be sleeping with a bunch of other dudes. She probably got in-house dick with you, and she succumbed to the situation, you know, or resigned to the situation and just say, this is what it's going to be. And you resigned to the situation by being a bitch. Masculinity now. Are you guys crying or the feel good? Everybody wants to feel good. Men, we need a place to express our emotions. For what? Men, it's not your job to express your emotions. You express your emotions in private and you figure that shit out. Hence the title of this. You know, you figure that shit out. You go into your man cave or into your truck, or you go out in the woods, or you go to the store and you go figure that shit out. You go to a bar. You go to a bar and you go figure that shit out. You don't go just crying on your woman's shoulder. It's the worst thing you can do to a woman, even though we think, guys, we finally have a place. I can go to this channel and I can release my anger and, you know, my frustrations. Go to therapy. Go get counseling. Don't put that shit on your woman, because you're suspect at that point once you do that. Regardless of if a woman says, JR, tell me your feelings. I want to know how you're feeling right now. You know, then you just start boohoo crying and shit. I think that's what a lot of times what you guys want. Nobody's listening. We're not being heard. The problem is you compromise and you don't stand on business. You don't stand on authority. You have no authority. You don't command anything because she's running everything. A man who commands his life, it's not a big deal. It's nothing to tell you, nothing to say get lost. Beat it. You're dismissed. A lot of men don't have the confidence to do that. Not in a rude way. I don't mean for you guys to actually say you're dismissed, be gone. I mean, you know, I think a lot of times we're scared to say what it is that we want from you or what we desire from you. Men, we're afraid. We have that scarcity mindset that if I tell her how I feel, and I'm not saying you're being a dictator or things like that, but if you tell her, hey, this is what I want, this is what I expect, and this is what I give if you don't have anything to give in return except commanding orders and trying to correct someone, then you're not fit to be that cherisher, that sustainer, that guardian, that protector. At least in my opinion. I'm just a dude on YouTube talking right now. Don't take me seriously, but if you choose to listen, that's cool too. Man, I haven't even eaten today, man. When I get off here, I'm gonna make me a sandwich. Express an emotion. You express emotion when you're in bed, when your child's born, when you get married, and at a funeral. I hope that's enough. Or is that not enough? Let me know. Am I being too harsh? That's at least my opinion. I mean, you guys can comment and let me know if I'm off on that one. In terms of a man, ladies, do you like your men emotional? So you said where's the men? Where's the men at? They're just listening, I guess. Any perspective? I think when we talk about stuff, whether it's empathy or whether this is if we have children, part of empathy is putting yourselves in other shoes, right? Or how somebody else is feeling in a moment. When it comes to you thinking of someone close to you, whether it be a child, father, daughter, family member, sibling, whatever, how would you like it? You know what I mean? How would you like it if they had to go through that? I saw a guy, he commented one time, he said, I would love to see my daughter struggle. I don't remember what video he said it on mine, but he was like, I would love to see my daughter struggle. Man, I feel like I'm sitting real low. Shout out. Not healthy for a man to be emotional with his woman. You can't have all that stuff build up inside because it's going to lead to sickness and ailments. You have to release it somehow. We will never forget how vulnerable you were. Not sexy. Exactly. Here's the thing. And this is what this space is creating with these. It feels like I'm sitting like super low. This is what this space is creating with these men. Imagine all the heroes, all the great men of society that you know about. Soft men are never celebrated in the annals of history. Where are they celebrated at in this world? Soft men. Even Jesus did some gangster shit, you know what I'm saying? But where are soft men celebrated overall? Where is it that women are desiring soft men? I'll wait. If you guys want to comment, I'll wait for that one. I don't think anywhere where those men go down as, legendary or anything like that. It's men that were about that action, got out there, that were making it happen, making their mark on history. That emotion is just time wasting. It's attention seeking. We appeal our weakness, either to your higher self, to God, you know, or in a moment of silence. You don't appeal your weakness to your significant other, even though she may know some of your weaknesses already. And if she's down and for you, she's not going to throw it up in your face and laugh at you about it. That's a woman for you. Toxic masculinity, that's another one. There is no such thing as toxic masculinity. You're either masculine or you're not. Fred and Barney never let their guard down. Hey, it's not about aggression. It's not about putting beaters on someone. It's not about putting your foot in a woman's ass. Right? It's about standing on business. Mean what you say and say what you mean. Right? Yeah, JR is live, bro. I know, shout out to YouTube right now. I'm live. JR, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Should I tell my lady? Babe, I don't know what I'm gonna do. What am I gonna do? She's looking at you like, I don't know what you're gonna do either. I don't know what we're gonna do. Let's go in the room and make love. Maybe everything will be better after that. You know what I mean? I see BigBossCalvin just pulled up. Yeah. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. She don't know what you're gonna do. Only thing left is just, let's have sex. Maybe everything will get better after that. Somebody said once upon a time, I can't remember. If you're broken, fucked up in the game, you shouldn't be fucking. Hence the title of this again. As a man, you have to figure it out. Why are you fucking? If you're broke and destitute and struggling and your woman's struggling, I don't see how a woman can be turned on for a broke dude when their stomach's growling. Rent's due, and you fucking on some dude that's not doing anything for you, baby. Have you lost your damn mind? Ladies, have you lost your mind? Ladies, I'm on my He-Man woman hater shit. I blame you. I blame you for fucking with these duds and trying to convince yourself that he's the knight in shining armor when he's just some dusty dude that whispered sweet nothings. I'm not cock blocking, I'm not dirty macking or nothing, ladies. I'm just saying. And then you throw out a blanket indictment and say that all men are trash when you picked a man that was trash, that you convinced yourself, because ladies, you are so good at convincing yourself of things. You're so good at inventing imaginary stories in your mind, right? Of how things go. Even if you know this dude never worked a day in his life, he'll be president of the United States. And I don't like that. But anyway, let's segue. Let's bring on the big boss real quick. Talk to me, Calvin. What's happening with you, man?
Hey man, I'm just chilling. I'm about to go home soon out in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, y'all.
Chapel Hill?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, man. I've been putting that work in that TikTok, man. And I'm gonna just say this. There's too much dishonesty and there's too much tone policing. And I had to really just give the business. Now I'm not easily triggered, but I think it's healthy to have a little, your respectful disagreement, even on here, respectful disagreements.
Right.
I keep hearing women talking about not all, and I'm not saying all, but if it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if it does apply, obviously it does apply. Men don't know how to properly lead. And I said to myself, Big Shirley, you know how to properly lead when it comes to your Wazadi and you take your butt to McDonald's. You follow that Big Mac. Follow that Big Mac, supersized milkshake. I don't want to hear that. Look, I'm not telling anybody how to run their channels and platforms because I've been accused of that. Look, nobody wants to be real. A lot of these women want to cherry pick. A lot of these dudes want to cherry pick,
Right.
and they want to tone police. They want to tone police emotions. As a man, you're supposed to just keep it bottled up and says, I'm not saying you should cry out of cowardness, but the way I express myself, and I had to learn this. She offends me without flipping out. I just check on the disrespect and keep it moving. Even if it's in the public, it's like, I get so sick and tired of this. You're supposed to just take respect and just walk away. Okay, we've been walking away and we've been slapped around. So I'm like, okay, you got to pick your battles. But my thing is, it comes to a point where enough is enough. And I'm on that point myself. Enough is enough. I can't say this. I'm supposed to just take it. But Calvin, what's wrong with your health, man? Why you keep a bottle up inside? Like, I'm at a point, I think as a man and a woman too, but as a man, for me personally, you got to stop giving a French toast about what people say. These people who talk about the gender politics don't have no degree, no education. They don't even do field work. I do field work. And I even work, I'm not going to discuss the commuter tide I be doing field work in. A lot of these dudes are capping. I don't like no fat chick. Dude, why is your subscription on BBW? Women, I don't want no broke men. Most of your exes are with dudes who you never dated a Jay-Z in your lifetime. It's just so much cap. I don't mean to get in the rant, JR, but I'm just like, it's them type of days.
I feel you. Let it out, Calvin. Shit, let it out, player.
Hey, and this is how you let it out, gentlemen. Articulate your emotions. You can't really control your emotions. And I'm gonna say the reason why I say this. I woke up sick. That was out of my control. The only thing you can do is identify and manage and filter and funnel and articulate. But I had some goofy clown talking about, I can't take no rejection. No, I said, a lot of men don't take no disrespect. I said, man, you're the one crying about your ex. You really can't take no for an answer yourself. Just too much hypocrisy. And it's okay for me. No, it's not okay for either. And even though there are differences on genitalia and all that stuff, but we're more of the same. We're not aliens. And to me, I'll say this for me, women are not complicated. And I think a lot of women know men are not complicated. It's just so much BS out here, not just in social media. But social media is a reflection of how people feel. Because we wouldn't have anti-social media if people was not, sharing, watching the stuff they watch. That's why just roll solo, gentlemen. Just ladies, you're gonna have to roll solo too. You're gonna have to learn how to be selective and vet your. Don't listen. Single women keep each other single. But I will say there's dudes who be hating too. So much backstabbing, and we should not be jealous of one another. We should appreciate one another. That's all I gotta say.
Shout out, Calvin, man. I appreciate you calling in, bro.
Yeah, man. And I'm about to enjoy your show. Hey, man. You're the king of fashion. The way you represent.
Not at all, but I appreciate the compliment, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Take care.
Have a good night, man. Shout out to Calvin. Y'all know somebody asked, is he the foot fetish king? Yes, he is. That's the foot rubber. You know what I'm saying? Shout out. Hey, Calvin, regardless of what y'all think, Calvin done showed me the ocular proof. I done seen him with some women's. You know what I'm saying? He done sent me a few videos. So yeah, he gets some women's. So, shout out to Calvin. Oh, we got a couple calls in here, but I want to shout out my man Chef Chupino. Y'all make sure, shout out, I appreciate you for the super chat, my bro. I stopped editing my content just because you're on. Shout out to Chef Chupino. Y'all go ahead and follow his channel. If we got any mods, go ahead and plug it in the chat. We'll bring on this next caller here. Lee, talk to me. Talk to me nice. How you doing?
What's up, Omar? How you doing?
Oh, all is well. Where you calling from?
Grand Prairie, Texas.
Shout out to Grand Prairie, man. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to say, us as men, I feel like some of us, we're dropping the ball too. A lot of us don't want to hold each other accountable. I understand what women do, but a lot of times some of these men that I've seen online feel like they're They feel like they're entitled to a woman's, you know what,
Right.
and it doesn't work like that. A lot of these men don't do work, and they don't understand the power of time. One thing about relationships, depending on how many you get in or who you're in a relationship with, they teach you a lot about your own self. They teach you a lot about how to function in a relationship and what it takes in the next relationship if that relationship fails.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of us are not doing internal work, and we are just aren't doing work on ourselves as a whole, and we expect things out of other people that we don't even do for ourselves. And you can't be selfish like that. You can't do that. It's not how life goes on. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Um, to my young fellas, what I want to say is, when it comes to doing the work, first of all, be righteous to yourself first and foremost. Meaning, when you're getting into these relationships, right? Tell the truth. Tell the truth to the woman from the jump.
100.
And the reason why you want to tell the truth is because the last thing you want to do is for a woman to bring up the past of what you did in a relationship or what you said in a relationship that wasn't true. She's going to hold that against you. So the last thing you want is to be a prisoner in your own relationship.
For sure.
So it's just best to do what you're supposed to do at the very beginning. Tell the truth, be truthful to yourself and your partner, and just do the work for the most part. And that's pretty much it, man.
I'm a big proponent of honesty, in terms of the respect that you gain from women, even if you are honest, even when it comes to, sex. Obviously, that's the first thing, you want to lie about. I mean, men tend to lie about in terms of trying to get some sex from a woman. But I believe honesty is, as you said, it's liberating. And even in a relationship, it's liberating, even if you feel like, she might not want to mess with you or deal with you anymore if you do tell her the truth. You
Right.
know, I what I've learned is the more you tell women the truth, the more she wants to be with you.
Yeah.
No matter how harsh it is, she's just like, oh my goodness, So I think that's definitely the move right there. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and even if she doesn't, even if the girl that you really really like, right, and you tell her the truth and it turns her off and she moves on, don't worry about it. Just keep kicking the can down the road, and hopefully you come up on a chick who's fly, who rocks with you no matter what.
Yeah,
That's what you really want. The one who's gonna rock with you in spite of your past or whatever you did, and you told her the truth. That's the one for you, more than likely. So yeah.
for sure. So with the topic, right? I know you touched on some things. How do you feel about that in the actual situation when you're in a relationship, whether you're married, a serious monogamous relationship, serious poly relationship? How do you feel the role of a man in terms of any issues or turmoil or anything that comes up in a relationship with him being the one that has to figure it out? What's your thoughts on that?
You have to be able to figure it out. You have to. That's one of the toughest things that you have to realize in your relationship. You have to ask yourself, do I have the ability and the talents to actually get over whatever it is I need to get over with? This is why sometimes when women challenge us, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the beauties of a woman is the fact that she's able to challenge us. Why? Because it tests our manhood.
For sure.
That's one of the very reasons why. Because she needs to know that you're able to, no matter what the weather is, you know what I'm saying? You'll be able to go through and do what you need to do for yourself and the whole family. That's the beauty of a woman challenging us. And a lot of dudes, they see it as, oh, well, she's this, she's that. You know what I'm saying? But they need to realize that's a beauty of it. How are you as a man? Are you going to fold? Are you going to go through, go through the fire of what it is and come out on the other side refined?
There you go. I like that analogy that you put up, because a lot of men, as you said, they don't view it that way. They just throw up the shit tests, and as that term shit test, and she's doing this or she's giving me a hard time, and or she's saying certain things. But as you said, that challenges your manhood and your masculinity and how centered you are and where you're gonna. She needs, because if she's planning on being with you, I mean, same thing if you were vetting a guy for your daughter. You
Yes.
want to know he's solid and he's not some dude that's basically struggling and is inconsistent and is all
Right.
over the place. You know what I mean? So for sure,
Men, we know the games that men play because we're men. So of
absolutely,
course we're going to want the best for our daughters. Well,
absolutely.
if you're a true loving father would want the best for his daughter.
Facts, facts.
So yeah.
Well, Lee, you called in here before, right?
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, I recognize your voice and your name, man. Well, hey, bro, I appreciate you calling in. You had anything else you want to add?
Uh, Not really, man. I hope the best for your show. Love your platform, and to all the listeners out there, wish the best for all y'all, and keep doing what you're doing, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, man. Thanks again for calling.
All right.
All right, good night.
Good night.
Shout out to Lee there from Grand Prairie, Texas. You know what I mean? Got another caller here. Shout out to everybody tuned in. Before we bring on the next caller, hit that like button. You guys should have already hit the like button already. Shouldn't be anybody in here that's watching that hasn't hit it yet. It's easy. Doesn't cost you a thing. It's free. You know what I mean? So get the likes up. Y'all know I only show my face every now and then. If y'all want to see me more, you need to start hitting that like button. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and bring on the next caller here. DC, talk to me. How you doing?
What's going on, man? I'm doing just fine, man. Appreciate you for having me up here. So, I'm pretty much. So what I'm doing is I'm up here to just share my viewpoint as a young man, and just to have you up here openly, just to critique me and everything. But me personally, I think that when it comes to everything that a man is supposed to be in terms of values, beliefs, and character, it is 100% our responsibility to be that. The same way how it's 100% a woman's responsibility to be what she's supposed to be, it's 100% yours. Now, the reason why I bring up character, beliefs, and values is because sometimes in certain life situations, you may go through struggles, you may go through trials, and unfortunate things may happen to you. That's the first thing. And then second thing, I think that a big thing that people are missing out on is not getting with other like-minded people.
For sure.
Like, I know some women who they just travel around the country and they're missionaries. I know women who literally live on a bus. Those people, you be seeing them on YouTube, they just live on a bus with their husbands and whatnot. I've seen that too. And then we see women who are about the high value guys. I think the big issue that we're having is people are going for people that don't have the same like-mindedness as they do. That's one of the issues. But as far as you're saying, I think it's 100% the man's fault when it comes to everything that it takes to being a man. And when a woman gives you a shit test, I'm not using foul language, I'm using a technical term. When a woman does that to you, I don't think there's a single thing wrong with that, because then you as a man, you want to know stuff about her too. You
Right.
want to tell her too. You want to see how submissive she's going to be and how she's going to act and respond. But I do think that there is some open communication. I don't think we should have these open gaps where there's tension of, are they trying to figure out this? Are they trying to, like, what are you trying to do? And it's always this big question mark as to what somebody's trying to do. You always, in the back of your head, there is this unspoken tension, because you're always trying to figure out, okay, what is she trying to pull? What is she trying to do? I believe in open way communication, if a woman has an issue with X, Y, and Z, I think she should say, me personally, I'm looking for a man that has these, that, and these other qualities, how well would you say you line up with that? Different things like that. I believe in open communication, but I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman testing a man or asking a man for things like that. That's just me personally. How do you feel about everything I just got done saying?
No, I agree. Just like Lee kind of, he kind of covered that as well. I believe you have to rise to the occasion. I believe in answering the questions when they're asked. You know what I'm saying? I believe in that. You know what I'm saying? Everything you said is exactly. It shouldn't be looked at as like this is a whole ordeal. Why is she doing this? So on and so forth. Because it's either she's insecure with herself, or she's just doesn't have enough faith, or she's not secure with being in you if she's asking certain things or giving these tests to begin with. You know what I mean? So as a man, we have to rise to the occasion and be that one that she wants to be with at the end of the day, or that she's looking to be with. I'm not saying you have to change who you are, but basically show up as the man. You're the man, she's the woman. You know what I'm saying? If she's marrying you or wants to marry you or wants to, I don't even want to say procreate, because women, have kids with whoever these days.
Yeah.
But she's doing it for a reason. You know what I mean? And it's those things that you said, whether, was it character? What else did you say? Character and
It's character, values, and beliefs.
yeah, character, values, and beliefs. You know what I mean? If that's what it boils down to, security and provisions. I'm going a step further, obviously, outside of that, but in terms of actually having a serious long-term relationship, these are the things that most women look for: is security, provision. Is this a good man that I'm looking at? But yeah, spot on. Definitely, I don't think there's anything wrong with shit tests as well. You know what I mean?
And this is another thing that I have been told, and this is something that I've thought of before too, because I do believe in protection and provisioning for women. Me personally, I'm not married, but if I was married, my ultimate goal would be for her to stay at home and raise a kid and me to take all the bills. That's just me. Me personally, the way I am is this. I don't think there's anything wrong if the woman is the breadwinner and the dad wants to be a stay-at-home parent. That's cool. If the couple wants to combine finances, that's cool. I'm just talking about my personal preference.
Yeah.
Because the reason I bring up is because there's a lot of talk about money in the manosphere and who should make this, that, and the other. And as far as I'm concerned, I have Christian beliefs. And my belief is this: once two people come together, God says the two have become one. There is no his money and her money. So when I hear a lot of talk about men being insecure about how much money they have, or women wanting a high value guy, once you get married, what's wrong with he makes 50,000, I make 35, we have 85,000, let's grow together? I don't personally, my personal belief, I don't think a man owes it to a woman to make a certain amount of money. I think a man owes it to God to follow his God-given path. But what I do think a man owes a woman is his vision and plan for the future. If she has one idea about, I don't want to work until I'm 45. I want to have my own disposable income. I want my kids to be able to go to this type of school. And he has a whole different mindset. Well, then I don't think it should go.
Right.
But yeah, I just think that there is a big emphasis, because just we as men, man, you want the girl who would love you with 5,000 in the bank or 500,000 in the bank. And that's what it means to have somebody who's truly ride or die, that's going to be with you through thick or thin, through rich or poor, thick or thin, whatever the wedding vows is. So that's one thing I want to touch on. How you feel about that?
Hey man, that's you sound like a traditional man to me.
Yeah.
From what you're talking about, I get it. What you're saying in terms of your values, it sounds like a traditional outlook on things. I know in terms of you mentioned the whole Christian point and perspective on that. Ideally she should love you for you, but me personally, I still think that you should be able to take care of whatever, and that should be discussed ahead of time too as well, before you guys even make it that far. But you should be able to take care of your wife and whatever children that you may have. If she decides to work, I mean, that's cool too. But if we came upon this agreement that this is what's going to go on, and then we step outside of that, all of a sudden, then that ultimately affects the dynamic of the relationship. But for sure, the man, I have traditional values, similar to yours as well. We would like, I don't think that you have to be, make this, incredible, crazy amount of money to be able to marry a woman. If that's the case, then I don't need to be with you either. But I don't think, and I once again, I go back to my daughters. I don't want my daughters struggling. I'll raise them to be realistic, but I definitely don't want them struggling with a guy. You know what I mean? Because I feel like as a man, if you have reached that point where you're like, I want to be married, I want a wife, but we're going to be struggling, I feel like that's an issue. You know what I mean? And I get it where we're, how you said, under God, we're a unit. You know, everything is combined. You know, that's cool too. You know, because like you said, everybody has their own dynamic. Some men, like you said, some men stay home and watch the kid. Me personally, that doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? I would never be that type of guy where I'm sitting at home and she's out there doing her thing, or she could be doing it from home too. But I think in the traditional sense, from my perspective, that it's not a man's place is not at home raising the kids while the woman is out there getting after it. You know, just my thoughts on it. But yeah, I think we're, you know, somewhat in the same place in terms of that.
Yeah, we are. Just the only thing I've been thinking about is that, like, you see these success stories of men who went from the bottom and now they're at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was thinking about is, man, come here, you know, I am poor, I'm struggling. Okay, we can't date. Oh, you're at the top now? Okay, now we can date. You know, when you flip, how does that work? You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, I don't, like I said, I'm not saying you have to be at the top. Once again, you don't have to be making, in my opinion, you don't have to be making some grand amount of money where you're the top 10 or even the top.
Oh yeah, that's true. You did say
you know what I mean? I feel like you have to provide a roof over this woman's head and be able to provide for her and the children. That doesn't mean she's rocking diamonds or eating out every night. You know what I mean? Or having the best bags and things like that. You know, as a man, I don't feel like you have to do that. And I'm not going to raise my daughters to be that way either. You know what I mean? But it's not going to be a point where he's like, okay, I want to marry you. I'm struggling now, but I want to marry you to kind of help out with this situation.
Yeah.
I'm struggling right now. No, that's not how it should be. I don't think it's ever been like that way traditionally. Maybe I may be off, and you know, but just my thoughts. You know what I mean? I feel you.
Yeah, man. But good feedback, good conversation, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, man, I appreciate you calling in, man. You know, shout out to that young brother DC. You know, traditionalism, if that's a real word. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to the new gen, the new age. You know how you look at things. It all boils down to, you know, the dynamic that works for your situation. Because I know there's a lot of stay-at-home dads that take care of the kids. Some men can't work anymore. Some are not fit to work anymore, and maybe the woman may be doing their thing, but it's just not for me, you know. And any of my daughters, I wouldn't. There's a lot of women out there that are taking care of men, and they're trying to figure it out, and the men can't really offer them any advice on how to figure it out. She's the one that's seeking counsel with other people on how do we figure this out. I got my husband at home. Trust me, I've talked to hundreds of women who are trying to figure out, and they have as we say, have a whole man in their life, and they're trying to figure it out. There's an issue with that. I have an issue with that, and I wonder what's going on in a woman's mind other than her saying, I don't want to lose this guy, so I'll just figure it out, while he sits back and watches me struggle trying to figure it out, you know. So we talk about independent women. This is another thing I want to address, right? We don't want independent women, which is one of the phrases that's used, or one of the common things that's used. Independent women, I guess, unless you're just referring to the independent woman that says she doesn't need a man. But you want a woman that's not independent, but you want her to go half on the bills because it's 2023. To me, that doesn't make sense, fellas. You know, you can make it make sense. You can rationalize it. I know a lot of the guys that are digesting this content have never been in relationships or have been married. It sounds good to say these things. It sounds good to be a part of a brotherhood or fraternity, but sometimes you have to be a free thinker and say, hey, does this really make sense? I don't want an independent woman, but you know, I want this to be this way. But she needs to go half on these motherfucking bills. We have unrealistic expectations, fellas. As much as we say women are delusional, so a lot of you fellas are deluded as well. And this is J.R. Wisdom saying this. I'm not a red pill popper. I'm not in the manosphere. This is J.R. Wisdom saying that. A lot of you men are delusional, and I think a lot of men who take in this content know you men are delusional. You know, you saying you commanding things, and you can't even command your dick to get up. And it's very distasteful and disheartening. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, especially you, I don't know, man. Listen, man, we're coming up on an hour. We had had some nice callers in the building tonight, man. This is a good conversation. It ultimately falls back on you. Whatever issues you have with a woman, whatever issues you have in life, whatever shortcomings, it all falls back on you. You know what I mean? If a woman ghosts you, it falls back on you. Right? If a woman leaves you because you're broke, it all falls back on you. You got to come to your own rescue, fellas. You can't be waiting for a woman, for Superwoman to come and rescue your ass. You know, you've been a mama's boy, that's cool, but you got to wake up sometime. You know, you have to throw your cape on and look in the mirror and be bold, cold, honest with yourself and say, do I deserve a woman? Do I deserve some pussy on the regular? Am I deserving? Or do I listen to a podcast that's basically telling me, you know, I deserve this shit by default, knowing when I look in the mirror's not telling me that. And I'm not saying these things to make you feel bad, fellas. I just want you to be bone cold honest with yourself, as I have to be with myself when I look in the mirror with certain things and where we're at in life. But we shouldn't just come to the conclusion that, you know, it's not fair. I deserve this. I'm entitled to this. Entitlement is a disease of the heart. Fairness is a disease of the heart. You're not entitled to anything, man. You know, it's what you earn, man. It's what you negotiate. It's what you negotiate in a relationship. Coming into it. Loving this conversation of men holding one another accountable and giving good advice. Yeah, that's many of us women are learning just like you. Shout out, man. So think about that, fellas. You know, like I said, we coming up on an hour. I just wanted to end on that. You know, this isn't the point fingers hour. You know, this isn't the hold accountable hour. You feel me? This is just conversations and reflections. So, you know, with that being said, man, I'm about to get up out of here. We don't have any more callers. You know, make sure all you guys hit that like button if you haven't yet. I'm reading some of these comments that were, you know, hidden. My man said it falls back on the sheesh. Yeah. But listen, man, what's the song? I don't know. I don't know the name of the song. It's a mix I got playing. I'm not sure the song, but yeah, man, much blessings and abundance, man. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. You know, we still trying to run it up to 100,000. So go ahead and get in there. I put out a few videos. Make sure you guys go watch those. Share it. Share this to your family. Share it to somebody that you feel like it'll be a benefit to. You know, I'm about to hop back in front of the camera here and record a few videos, you know, before I lay it down for the evening, man. But you guys have been great. And Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit me up on Linktree to book a one-on-one with yours truly if you're seeking some advice. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. It's all in the description of this video. And with that being said, man, I'm gonna try to come on here tomorrow. You know, we're gonna cover more of these topics. If you got any topics you'd like me to discuss or go live to discuss, make sure you shoot me an email or hit me up on Instagram, DM me, man. You know what I mean? And we're gonna just leave it like that, man. Much blessings and abundance. It's your favorite everything, JR Wisdom. And I am out of here. You guys have a good night.